Do you know what's truly frightening? That millions of people will spend their entire lives working hard, yet still die broke. Not because they were lazy, not because they were unlucky, but because of 3 silent habits they never noticed, habits that quietly destroyed their future. Ladies and gentlemen, listen carefully. What I'm about to share isn't theory, it's real life. Every day, people wake up early, rush through traffic, grind all day, come home exhausted, fall asleep, and repeat the same routine for years. But when you look at their bank account, their savings, their investments, the answer is always the same: nothing. They worked, but they never moved forward. And the question is, why? Let me tell you a story. A man once said to me, "If only I had more money, my life would change." But the truth is, even if he got more money, he would lose it. Why? Because poor habits will always defeat good luck. That's why lottery winners go broke. That's why people who inherit wealth often end up with nothing. Because money without new habits is like water in your hands. It slips away. Habit 1. Survival spending. The first habit that keeps people poor forever is what I call survival spending. You've seen it, people living month to month, saying, "I just need to get through this month." The salary comes, and before the weekend ends, it's gone. Rent, bills, food, a few luxuries, maybe a dinner out or a new phone they didn't need. And then, back to zero, month after month, year after year. They say, "I don't get opportunities to grow." But the truth is, they're not planting anything. They're eating the seed. I know this because I lived it. There was a time when I stood outside offices begging for a job, facing rejection after rejection. And when I finally got one, I thought, now my life will change. But every time I earned more, I spent more. I wasn't building, I was just running faster on the same treadmill. Maybe you feel the same right now. Let me paint you a picture. 2 young men, same factory, same salary. One comes home tired, watches TV, scrolls his phone, spends his money on small pleasures. The other comes home tired too, but he spends 1 hour a day learning something new, reading, studying, saving instead of buying new clothes. 10 years later, the first man is still in the factory. The second owns a company. Not luck, not family, not genius, just habits. Here's the truth. Survival thinking never creates growth. When your mind is focused only on how do I survive today, you never ask, how do I build for tomorrow? The world doesn't reward survivors. It rewards builders. Look at J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter. She was broke, a single mother, rejected by 12 publishers. She could have said, "I have no chance." But she didn't eat her seed, she planted it. She kept writing. That seed grew into books, movies, and a billion-dollar empire. That's not luck, that's habitual growth. But most people do the opposite. They say, "I don't have much, so let me spend what I have to feel good now." They buy things that make them look rich instead of investing in what makes them rich. Remember this, if you eat the seed, you'll always stay hungry. But if you plant it, water it, protect it, one day you'll sit under its shade. Look at Oprah Winfrey, born in poverty, abused as a child, working at 14. By every measure, she should have stayed poor. But she didn't complain. She didn't waste her time or money to escape her pain. She invested in her voice, in her growth. She turned pain into power. Today, she's one of the most influential women alive. Not because she started rich, but because she built rich habits. And that's the point. Poor people don't stay poor because they don't work hard. Some of the hardest workers on earth are broke. They stay poor because all their energy goes into surviving today instead of building tomorrow. Poverty doesn't start in the wallet. It starts in the mind. Change your mind, and your wallet will follow. So ask yourself, are you surviving or are you growing? Do you spend to look rich or invest to become rich? Because money follows habits, and until your habits change, your future won't. Habit 2. Falling into money traps. The second habit that keeps people poor is falling into money traps. These traps aren't accidents, they're designed. They live in ads, discounts, apps, and your phone screen. And if you don't see them clearly, you'll spend your life working for others' profits. Think about it. When most people get extra cash, what do? Do they invest? Do they save? No, they spend. A new phone, a car, a big TV, expensive dinner, all to reward themselves. But here's the truth. Poor people want to look rich, while rich people want to stay rich. Warren Buffett still lives in the same house he bought decades ago. Meanwhile, a man earning $500 will take a loan to buy a $1,000 phone. That's not smart. That's slavery to consumerism. I knew a man once who got a raise and celebrated by buying a new car. He took a loan, paid half his salary every month to the bank, and thought he was progressing. But that car didn't make him rich. It made the bank rich. When you confuse looking rich with being rich, you trap yourself. Then comes the fear trap. Poor people are terrified of risk. They say, starting a business is too risky, or I might lose money. So they keep their savings in an account that grows 2% while inflation eats 10%. They think they're being safe, but doing nothing is the biggest risk of all. When Jeff Bezos left his Wall Street job to build Amazon in a garage, people called him crazy. They said he was ruining his future. But he understood something most people don't. The biggest risk is not failing, it's never trying. Then comes the procrastination trap. People say, one day I'll invest, one day I'll start. But one day never comes. And every day they wait, they lose time, the one thing that never comes back. Even Einstein called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. The earlier you start, the more it multiplies. And finally, the environment trap. If your 5 closest friends gossip, complain, and waste time, guess what? You will too. But if they talk about growth, ideas, and opportunities, you'll rise with them. Your circle defines your ceiling. Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future. Money traps don't rob you instantly. They rob you slowly, year by year, until one day you realize you've been running in circles. Unless you break free, money will always control you, not the other way around. And now, the third habit, perhaps the most dangerous one of all, blaming and complaining. Poor people always find someone to blame. They blame the government, they blame their boss, they blame the economy, the system, their parents, but never themselves. Whenever life gets hard, pointing fingers feels easier. If only my boss paid more. If only my parents were richer. But here's the truth. Blaming gives comfort, not progress. Because every time you blame, you give away your power. I once met a young man who said, "I can't succeed because my father didn't leave me money." I told him, "Then succeed so your children never say the same about you." Every generation has two choices: to pass down excuses or opportunities. Poor people pass down excuses. Rich people pass down opportunities. And then there's complaining, the twin brother of blaming. Poor people complain about everything: their jobs, their pay, their luck, but never change their actions. They never learn new skills, never start side hustles, never improve themselves, because complaining feels like action, but it's not. You can never complain your way to success. Action builds, complaining kills. Two shopkeepers once faced the same problem: no customers. One sat and complained daily about the government. The other said, "If they don't come to me, I'll go to them." He started home deliveries, told friends to order through him, built trust, and his business grew. Today, the first man still complains. The second owns a supermarket. Same street, same problem, different mindset. So remember this: blaming and complaining are the chains you lock on yourself. You think the world is holding you down, but it's really you. Your future isn't decided by your boss, your parents, or the government. It's decided by your choices. When you blame, you delay. When you take responsibility, you take control. The day you stop saying, "It's not my fault," and start saying, "It's my responsibility," is the day you begin your journey to wealth and freedom. Let me leave you with this. Poverty is not just about money. It's a mindset. Two people can have the same job, same education, same salary, and one will rise while the other stays stuck. Why? Because one changes their habits. No one is born poor forever. You may be born with nothing, but if you die with nothing, it's because you refused to change. Life doesn't reward excuses. It rewards discipline, courage, and action. So how long will you wait? How long will you keep blaming, spending, procrastinating? 10 years from now, you'll regret two things: the chances you didn't take and the habits you didn't change. As a wise man once said, "The chains of habit are too light to be felt until they're too heavy to break." When you're young, wasting 1 hour feels harmless. Spending a little too much seems fine. Complaining feels normal. But one day you'll wake up at 50 and realize time has run out. The good news? Right now, you have a choice. You can break the chain. You can build new habits. You can choose to say, "I will not stay poor forever." Poverty is temporary if you fight it. Every rich person you admire today was once unknown, struggling, doubted. Their turning point wasn't luck, it was a decision. The decision to change their habits. Success isn't built in one day, it's built every day. Your habits are your future. Change them, and you'll change your life. Ignore them, and no amount of luck or hard work will save you. So I'll leave you with this question. Which habits will you take with you tomorrow? The habits that keep you poor or the ones that make you free? The choice, my friends, is yours. Thank you for listening. And remember,